Jorgensen. It is once again time for Husker Chat. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. We are joined by Sean Callahan, the publisher of Husker Online. Nebraska with a gritty win at home against Northwestern, 28-21. Sean, it was not a thing of beauty, but on the heels of what happened at Minnesota, that's probably the type of victory and type of performance that the Huskers needed.
Yeah, you kind of expected it, to be honest, Jason. Northwestern has done that to everybody. They've kept games in the 20s. They grind it out with their ground attack, and they're just opportunistic on forcing turnovers and some of the things they've done. And Nebraska was a play away from kind of running away with that game. They convert the controversial fourth down, then they go on that 15-point run and tied it up. But then Nebraska was able to force a turnover, which was big. I mean, Nebraska's defense before Saturday went 2 consecutive weeks without a forced turnover. They get 2, and then Dylan Raiola was not his best game, but he put it together when it mattered. He went 4 for 4 on third down throws on the winning drive for Nebraska, and they get special teams. I mean, that's been such an X factor to get a kick return for a touchdown. You look at these one-score wins. I think Nebraska's 3-1 this year in one-score games, and you can really point at special teams in almost all of the games.
I was going to ask you about that. We've not talked a lot about it, although it has been talked about some in the media. But to this point, Mike Eckler's been as good as advertised with that bunch.
Yeah, you look at what Mike Eckler's done. He's just really added some identity to these units, some personality, some swagger. And he said, we're going to return punts. Well, they're doing it. I mean, they have more punt return yards this year than like the previous several years combined. They have 245 yards of punt return, but then on the flip side, they have only allowed 1 yard of punt returns on the season. So they're a plus 244 in the punt return yardage on both ways. Kyle Callahan has given them a lift at kicker. He did miss 1 kick on Saturday, unfortunately, but he's been very consistent. And then Archie Wilson, but the return game, Ja'Cory Barney, and then Kenneth Williams. I mean, you're seeing guys that you didn't really expect, like Kenneth Williams, impacting games. And that's coaching. The blocking downfield and the other things. I mean, there aren't penalties. It's so hard, Jason. You watch a lot of football. It's really hard to return a kick or a punt for a long yardage and not have somebody make a block in the back. And that's been impressive as well, that they've been disciplined in these returns.
And it's also been kind of a lost art in football. So, and when you have a lot of games that figure to be, 50-50 toss-up games, and sometimes that could be the difference. I know that kick return on Saturday was a huge momentum builder for Nebraska.
Yeah, it was kind of those things where you didn't even think usually nothing was going to happen. You just didn't think it was coming. I mean, the way the first half was so ugly, it was 7-6. And, for them to come out of the gates with that play, then force a turnover, then go up 21-6. I mean, special teams set the table for that. And, if they can do that again this week, that'd be huge against a USC team that comes in with a pretty good offense.
All right, big question here. Did you get a rubbed shoulders and elbows with Bill Murray on Saturday? Was it the game?
I did not. I was on the sidelines pregame, but they keep us pretty well curtained off now and on the one. So I saw pictures of him, but yeah, the joke was he was in town doing a screening for another Groundhog Day, but Nebraska's able to actually pull it out and win this time. So Groundhog Day 2, not going to happen, I guess.
All right. Well, that was kind of cool to see him there, even though he was wearing the wrong colors, but you can understand that, him being a Chicago guy.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think he was in town for a teammates event, is my understanding, because he was with Chris Anderson, former Husker SID that works with teammates. So it was good to see him down there and good to get a win for Nebraska too.
All right, how about this Saturday? USC comes into town. They're having a nice season, and boy, you start to look at the offensive numbers that the Trojans have put up this year. That's very, very impressive.
Yeah, you look at USC's offense. I mean, they're averaging 10 yards per passing attempt. Jaden Maeva is 20 of 35 on deep throws, 20-plus yard throws down the field. He's only been sacked 4 times. So they get it out fast. They don't take sacks. They find big plays. They had been a good running team, but they have suffered injuries to their top 2 running backs. But their third running back is probably as good as a lot of people's first running back. So they, that will be the question. What will their running game look like? Notre Dame, they were, they didn't run it like they normally had. What will it look like in this game? You have to assume they will try to run it. Maeva's not run it much. A year ago he was running it 4 to 5 times a game. The last 2 games he's not run it once. So will Maeva be more involved this week as well? Because teams tend to kind of go at Nebraska's edge and go at those guys and try to find big plays on the edge. But this is going to be a huge test for the secondary and kind of limiting things down the field. I thought it was a big week for Donovan Jones to get a pick. And Rex Guthrie, again, a young safety. You got to think they're going to go after him in this game. So it's going to be a big game for a lot of those guys in the back end of this defense.
Do you put much in the stats that have been shown this week about USC's troubles on the road, especially when they've had to start to come across the country?
I do, because I think it's notable. And if you study USC's history, they've actually never really played a faraway road game this deep into the season. If you study like Notre Dame, when they play in South Bend, it was always an October game. But when Notre Dame plays USC, it's a November game in LA. So for you to get USC to travel cross country in the month of November, I do consider that a big break for Nebraska, because it's not going to be frigid cold, but it's going to be colder. It's 40, 50 degrees colder probably on Saturday here than what it was in LA today. So I do think there's an intangible advantage just with the elements that Nebraska should hopefully take advantage of. It will slow them down maybe a little bit than compared to what they're used to when they play in 85-degree weather every day. But yeah, the traveling is real. I think the data shows a lot of teams have struggled in this conference making these cross-country trips.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens Saturday night. Boy, big game, big showcase opportunity for the Huskers for sure.
All right. Hey, thanks, Jason.
You bet. That was Sean Callahan of Husker Online joining us. He joins us every week throughout the season. And Husker Chat is brought to you by Acres Equipment. I'm Jason Jorgensen.